EXA_League_ Racing is now live. Streaming 1 franc 24, EXA X3 Round 5 Season 8-Monaco.
Hello everybody and welcome to EXA X3 Round 5 here in Season 8. I am your commentator Half Lap Harry and I will be taking you through tonight's entertainment, and my god, is this about to be a good week of entertainment. X3 tonight, I believe it's X2 tomorrow, X1 on Wednesday. You've got a raft of good races to look forward to. Of course this one is the best. Slight bias of course. Slightly different format for tonight here on the streets of Monte Carlo. Haha. Short qualifying, ghosting is on, so the drivers can't interfere with each other's laps. And there will then be a restart before the commencing of 39 laps of, how do I put this, survival. Really will be a race of attrition tonight. Get your predictions in. How many drivers are we going to see finish this one? I'd imagine it won't be much more than 10, if that. Of course, the beauty of a restart means no one needs to save any tyres. So this should be absolute full out push from the start. Once they've got their bankers in, it'll be hell for leather as they wind around what is the shortest lap on the calendar at just under 3 miles. The first driver to start their lap will be BRT Knight in the Aston Martin. No heroics in the Sands of Ott, please. We all know what happens when you do. Oh, as he nearly clips the exit wall there. He clearly didn't listen to Jeff back in the day. Through Massenate, bit wide there, cuts back in through Casino Square, right up to the wall, kiss the wall. Down into Mirabeau, where of course we had the famous Nico Rosberg incident. Round the station hairpin, slowest corner of any circuit on the calendar. Bit of lag there, through Portier now, out towards the harbour, through the Monaco tunnel. Completely flat out of course, they never reach 8th gear. Only top of 7th gear, hard braking at the 100 to the Nouvelle chicane. Lovely cut there from Knight. Now the fast stuff, to back, flick it in, 5th gear. Kiss the wall, he wouldn't have been happy with that. Through the swimming pool, 1 and 2. Approaching up to the penultimate corner. Looks like a relatively clean lap so far, out of Anthony Nose and up to the line. Sets the initial pace of a 109.2. Someone needs to clip that lap, by the way. That was some of the cleanest commentary I've ever done. As Dylan quickly displaces him at the top. Just over 2 tenths quicker than Knight. Up next, we'll stay on board with the Kick Sauber of Felix, who I believe is one of the reserves for tonight. So we wish him well. We wish him well, of course. Up to the line he comes, P3, 109.5. The fact that the first 4 laps of the session have all been in the 109s have really shown the standard here in X3. You got to remember, this is only X3. There's still two divisions above this. that it gets ever faster. We'll go on board with the other Aston Martin. Nope, he's on an in-lap. We'll swap to Josh then, as he approaches the Rascasse, of course famous for Michael Schumacher having a convenient car parking brake on the exit and then being penalised for stopping Fernando Alonso from taking pole position as Josh goes to provisional pole. 108.7 puts 0.3 daylight between him and Dylan. Jamie's invalidated. KMO looks like he's... Well, it looked like he was going to try and go to the pit lane. Then he's got not a lot of VRS. Not sure what the Alpine driver was trying to do there, if I'm honest with you. He'll be going around for another lap. So we move to our current championship leader, Rio Harris, who, believe it or not, is championship leader without having winning a single race, as that is an RB in the wall. Not sure who that is, but that is unfortunate, whichever one of the RBs that is. And unless the graphics are wrong, Rio hasn't won a single race this season and leads the championship by... If we get it up. Leads the championship by 8 points from Raven and Josh. Of course, Raven being the cockpit cam sweat. Well, he would replicate what I managed to do in my own league, winning the championship with not a single race win to my name, as Rio goes up to P2 and just bridges that gap between Dylan and Josh. Speaking of Raven, we're right on board with the Mercedes as he crests to the top of the hill. Believe it or not, this man races in cockpit cam. You wouldn't be able to tell just by looking at it, but he does. Around Mirabeau. First gear around the hairpin. Portier, very difficult corner. As found there. Yeah, the car just doesn't want to turn. It's a downhill braking zone, very off camber. Again, lovely cut from Raven there. I'm sure we'll see a few DNFs tonight on that Nouvelle chicane wall.
Raven has scammed us both, Harry. He changed to TV pod for this season.
Oh, all that hype about the cockpit cam and he's absolutely snubbed us. What a rip-off. Haha. As he exits the final corner to complete his banker lap, which will be a 109.2. Next up will be Kane Mossy in the Alpine after his recharge lap. And he sets a 110.3. Both the RBs perhaps looking for an improvement. Next car we will look at will be Chaz.
Billy plays on Max FOV and Halo column on loudly crying face, loudly
What?
crying face, loudly crying face, that's worse.
Max FOV?
On cockpit cam.
Honestly, we need to open a forum of just what POV do you play the F1 game on. I'm sure we'd find some absolute stinkers in there. There you go, there's a suggestion for your question of the day. What POV do you play the F1 game on? His Chaz supposedly had a purple middle sector there. Don't know how much I trust that, but we'll soon find out. Just taps the wall there out of Rascasse. Towards the line. 109.2. Oh, we've had a crash at the exit of Tabac. Okay, Mossy has crashed on the exit of Tabac. Very unfortunate end for the Alpine, who I think was on an in-lap. Massively disappointing there for Mossy. We will now cut to Josh, who is having his second attempt at extending his provisional pole. You have to be so careful with the cut at the Nouvelle chicane. So easy to get it wrong and rip your tyre off. It's through to back, just touching the inside wall. It's not the best lap for Josh. Very scruffy. Into Raskas, lock up on the front right. He's going to finish it though. Clearly this is an improvement. That's the line we go. 109.7 again. Improves by 1/100th of a second. And even though it's only 1/100th of a second, folks, by the time we reach the end of qualifying, that could be the difference between pole and second place, which when the collisions go back on, could make all the difference. There's Dylan very late on the brakes there into the harbour chicane. Flick through to back. Yeah, those of you who have quali bands, which I believe are Epic and Marcel, I bet they're wishing they could have done it on any other track, as BRT Knight reclaimed the provisional pole by nearly 3/10, only to be usurped by Dylan. He goes another near 2/10 faster. Very quick times coming in now as, oh my goodness me, he's got to be careful. You do not want to be doing a KMO and ripping off your tyre on an in-lap. While we were speaking about that, Rio put his Red Bull into P2. Oh, why don't we go and spectate the guy who does use cockpit cam? And a horrible cockpit cam at that, if he does actually use cockpit cam. We don't know anymore. We've been scammed with Raven.
We will have formation lap on, as per driver's vote. Let's hope it works.
Is there not normally formation lap on? Actually, to be fair, I don't think there is. That's a very wide Kev into 48. As Raven's crashed. Raven has binned it on the run up to Raskas. What on earth has happened to Raven there? That's a very unconventional place to crash the car. He must have caught that bit of the barrier that sticks out back towards you. That's incredibly uncharacteristic of Raven, and quite frankly I have no idea how he's managed it. One of the many crashes to add to this esteemed history of this track. As we all watch Jamie downhill round Mirabeau wind the lock on. Like sometimes I get to the hairpin, full lock, and it's still barely enough to get around it. These cars are so big nowadays. How late on the brakes do you dare be? Into the chicane. Near perfect line from Jamie. Survives the Raven killer corner. Flies through swimming pool.
Last time we did Monaco, Raven crashed on the last lap in the right-hander before resting.
Last lap in the right-hander. What, the one after? Oh, he crashed at Portier. He did a Senna.
Slowly I saw the
did he?
Car.
Or is that Casino before Sector 2? Casino Square, so the corner coming up. That's incredibly unfortunate. As Jamie puts his Aston Martin into P5. Is this Nouvelle chicane?
Casino.
I'll catch the next car that goes through there. It is a car killer if you get it wrong. You can catch your left front on the barrier there, or you can catch it there.
So let's hope it's the same for him.
So, and it only takes one lapse of concentration, even on reduced damage, your tyre is gone. So, All too easy to do, of course. But I believe Dylan... then that would be more logical. So might this be Dylan's last lap then? He's gone for a very early run. He's deciding not to wait until the end. All about cutting. I believe he's backed out of that lap actually. We'll swap to his teammate Meeks.
I saw you join Williams, mate. Right.
Who is in low fuel mode, so we'll cut away from him. Billy's not on a lap either. ADS is finishing a lap by the looks of it, so we'll watch him across the line. Doesn't look to be the best in terms of the delta. He'll be going for a recharge lap and trying to improve on his P15. Now, final lap of a Monaco Q3. Different feeling of any other circuit. A lot of drivers here will be really pushing the limits of their cars, really pushing the limits of track limits. And a few of these laps will either be do or die.
Tell you what, X4 will be a comedic spectacle.
It'll either be a pole lap or they'll be in the wall, and hopefully Rio Harris isn't the latter. Purple sector 1, I didn't see the split time because the chat's covering it, but we'll have to assume he's up possibly a bit wide through there. I don't actually know what that corner's called. It's like the one corner on this track that I don't know the name of. He's backed out of it. Doesn't think that that lap is worth continuing. So we'll be recharge on. Ready to go again. I believe, unless Dylan comes out like about now, which he is, my goodness, he's cutting this close. He's got to get a move on. He's cutting this incredibly close if he's to go for another lap. Moving to Felix, the first of the top 7 to finish their final run. Where can he kick that kick Sauber up to? Up to P5, 3/10 improvement into the 108s. Lovely lap there from Felix. As we swap to Rio Harris, oh my goodness me. Look at the precision. Look at the precision. It's incredible what these drivers can do. Slowest corner on the track. Oh, is that a bit wide? He's wide again through... I'm going to call it no name. I don't actually know what the name is. The Haas gets out of the way. He was ghosted anyway. But just so he's not a distraction. Dylan will be last across the line, so we'll watch him then. Chaz has crashed, I think. I don't know, might have been invalidation. Speaking of invalidations, Rio has invalidated. So we will swap to Knight in P3. Through to back, rubbing against the wall. Purple middle sector. Maximum commitment. Raskas, don't lock the front right. Gets it turned in nicely. One corner to go, Anthony knows. Burn all the ERS, up to the line. What's the time saying? It's provisional pole for BRT Knight by 3/10 nearly. What a lap from the Aston Martin. There is 2 to go. Josh cannot improve. I don't know if Jamie's improving. Jamie's not improving. Dylan is the only car who can deny Knight a historic pole position in Monaco and is invalidated. Dylan has invalidated. Cut across the swimming pool chicane. I don't know what the delta was. He may have been down anyway, but an awful bottle there for Dylan in the McLaren. And Nick is not on a competitive time. Realm improves but not his position, and that is the end of that then here in Monte Carlo. It was over from the very start then, Dylan. But BRT Knight then is your pole sitter here in X3 round 5 at Monte Carlo by a margin. Quarter of a second clear of Dylan Hummel in P2, Rio Harris our championship leader in P3, Josh P4, Felix P5, Jamie P6, Meeks P7, Chaz P8, Raven P9 after crashing out, and Nick rounds out your top 10 in the Mercedes.
He'll take a 8,7.
It's quicker than anything I can do, so you guys should take whatever you can get. I think my best qualifying time was in 1:09.0. So a full second off any of what you guys are doing. The beauty of this break means that you can get an extended version of the Half Lap Harry history section, which I do like to chuck in from time to time. And my oh my, does Monte Carlo have some history. Of course, has held races since 1929 as a racing circuit, since 1950 as an F1 circuit, didn't hold it from then until 1955, but has featured every year since, apart from 2020. Of course, many famous names have won around the streets of the Principality. If this is the real start, I will laugh. Ayrton Senna, Graham Hill, Lewis Hamilton, Michael Schumacher, and many, many more. Home to many iconic moments, of course. I'm sure those of you who are old enough, I'm certainly not old enough, but those of you who are old enough, may remember the 1996 rendition of this race, which holds the record for the fewest ever finishes of an F1 race. Here's a quiz question for you. How many finishers finished that race, and who won it? Let's see if anyone knows. But of course, the circuit largely unchanged since its original configuration. Has had a few chicanes put in over the years, has been tightened and loosened, but it's never really lost the characteristics of the Monte Carlo circuit. The question was, for anyone who may know, the 1996 Monaco Grand Prix will hold the record for the fewest ever classified finishers in a Formula 1 race. How many drivers finished it, and who won the race?
3.
So you're correct, 3 finishers were classified, and Olivier Panis did indeed win. Are you of a certain age, Rowley? Do you remember that race? God, I love cracking out the random facts. I love cracking out the random facts, it's brilliant.
I wasn't born, but I know a lot about one Frank.
Oh, same. Same.
Blood was probably born before that race.
And for a bonus point, can you name 2 other drivers
I'm only 23, loudly
who have only won in Monaco?
Nora old, stop flying. Oh.
Can you name 2 more drivers who have only won the Monaco Grand Prix?
That's a hard one.
Imagine if this was the real start. I'll give you guys a second to ponder it, and then I will put you out of your misery of the 2 that I'm thinking of. So in the Formula 1 era, so since 1950, as Knight is struggling to DNF. Imagine being so good at the game you don't know how to DNF.
If you give me an invite, I will cook. I've never won in Monaco BTW, Lenny Cook.
Yeah, there's probably more examples of this. There's probably more examples of what I'm about to tell you. But the two that I am thinking of, one of them is Jarno Trulli.
So one win in their whole career and it's Monaco.
Yep. One of them is Jarno Trulli, who I believe only won the Monaco Grand Prix in 2004. You can fact check me on this if you want. I'm pretty sure I'm right. Name one more then. I've given you one, name another. Their only ever career victory being at the Monte Carlo circuit. If anyone else knows, do chime in. Gives us a bit of entertainment while we're on the break.
I'm having a headache if I can finish this race.
Yes, 39 laps. Requires an awful lot of concentration. 1 lap's in concentration and you're in the wall, so I wish you luck, Dylan.
Marlboro BRM. FFS.
Marlboro BRM. That is not the one it's not the one I'm thinking of. But if it is, then I might know.
It's him, I swear, I know it. Jean-Pierre Beltoise.
Jean-Pierre Beltoise. I don't know if he ever won it. You can fact check it. I don't know that one. I don't know all of them, but I do know quite a lot of them. Do you want to know the one that I was thinking of?
There aren't many, surely.
The one that I was thinking of, and I'm probably going to butcher the pronunciation of it. The chap called Maurice Trintignant. He only ever won the Monaco Grand Prix, and he won it twice. Back in the 1950s, maybe early 60s, I don't know how long he raced for. But he won it twice, and that was the only track he ever won at. So, how's that for a stat? May have won it in 1955? And then another year? I can't remember exactly, but I know he's won it twice, and I know that's the only 2 races he ever won. Let's think, what are some other fun Monaco facts? See if I can think.
Not easy wheel knowledge, I was right too. And I knew the year.
Of course he knew the year. Go on, I'll give an easy one for you. Who holds the record for the most wins around the Principality? And how many do they have?
Do you support Black Lives Matter? Senna with 6, right?
Yep, Senna has 6 wins in Monaco. It should have been 7. But he crashed out of the 88 one whilst being 1 minute in the lead.
Close enough.
Which would have been 7 wins in a row.
Felix lock in breath.
Would have been 7 wins in a row.
It should have been 8 actually.
And again, it probably could have been 8. And yes, it could have been 8 now that I think about it, because he should have won the 1984 race as well.
His first race. Yeah, 8 with the 84 one.
It's like saying that Lewis Hamilton should be a 10-time world champion. You know, you could say that if he hadn't have gone off in China, he would have won in 2007. If his engine hadn't blown up in Malaysia in 2016, he would have won that. And if they follow the rules in 2021, he would have won that.
Hamilton should have never won.
So he could have won 10, but he's won 7. Alonso could have been a 5-time world champion if he'd scored 10 more points. But no, he'll forever be known as the 2-time champion that got close a few times.
Right in the turn off the stream now. Gonna focus on driving the car in circles. It's notoriously
Good luck, Dylan. Good luck to everyone. It's going to be a long old slog. 39 laps of Monte Carlo awaits. This is the race that separates the good drivers from the great drivers. The great drivers from the very best. You win in Monaco, that's the one everyone wants to win. Worth more than any other race. A race of precision, a race of survival, a race of skill. As the drivers prepare with their setups and their strategy, which will no doubt go out the window, as 5 red lights await us for the formation lap. You could tell I was getting excited then, couldn't you? I forgot there was a formation lap. But a very mixed grid in terms of tyres. Knight and Hummel start on the mediums, followed by Rio in P3 on the hards. Josh electing to go with the mediums also. Felix and Jamie on the hards. Then there's a few people in the mid-pack on the mediums. Most people towards the back starting on the hards, which is expected. Wanting to try and go long and capitalise on a potential safety car, and Epic has stopped on the formation lap. I'm not sure what's going on there, but he better get a move on. What is he doing? As he is parked up at Casino Square.
He's waiting for better times.
Yeah, he's waiting for the end of this race. Yeah, he'll be sat there a while, mate, as all of the drivers are pulling up on the grid. But we won't have a race start because Epic is currently sat at Casino. I have no idea what's going on. Because it's not disqualifying him. Everyone's lined up on the grid. He's going to have to keep going. He's just going to have to go around to the grid. It's not going to disqualify him, is it?
Bro is having a wank over here.
I've got no idea what's going on with Epic.
FR.
But he really needs to just get going, because it's not going to disqualify him if he's waiting to be disqualified.
Penalise him.
Well, he's definitely going to be getting a penalty, I'd imagine. He's gone to the casino to gamble. He thinks he's got better odds on the slot machines than he has at winning this race, which, to be fair, alas, the first around Monaco would be something else.
69 penalty.
Every single other driver is lined up on the grid ready to go. And yet Epico is just sat there. And he's now retired and left. Not going to question any of that. We are now underway here in Monte Carlo. No heroics into Sandoval, please. As everyone piles into turn one. Oh my god, has there been a restart? There's been a restart, hasn't there?
Leading 5-5.
That's a bit of a restart. What was that? What on earth went on there? I saw everyone pile into turn one. I was like, what on earth is going on?
WTF.
Well, you'll often hear people speak of Monaco madness. This is Monaco madness on a different level, though. I have no idea what was happening.
What's your opinion on spoons?
Apparently Epico was glitched. Don't know if that's what's happened or not. We need the two Haas cars to retire. Because Meeks has retired. There's a few cars that have retired, but it's not retired that car. There's a few drivers getting very vocal over the radio.
Haas domination. Let the race finish.
Billy, you need to retire if you can hear us. Please retire the car for a restart. There we go. He got the message. So alas, we had one restart. Why don't we do it all again? And guess what?
Haas 1-2, let's go.
It means that I can bore you with more Monaco fights.
I'm shutting the stream off now.
Limp Allen's on for the day. Was only one Monegasque driver has won his home race in the modern era. Now, Rowley, shush, because I know you know this.
Madness.
Does anybody else know who the previous Monegasque winner of the Monaco Grand Prix was? 93 years ago in 1931.
John Monaco.
John Monaco. To be fair, you really need to have some wheel knowledge for this. So this is pre-F1 existing by 19 years.
You
What?
should invite me.
I know you're itching to say, Rowley. Go on. Who was it?
I would dominate in 2 different ways. At EXA_Rowley, what did I do? Louis Chiron.
Yes, indeed, it is Louis Chiron. Back in 1931, so only in the 3rd ever Monaco Grand Prix, won his home race, and that wasn't to be repeated until Charles Leclerc in 2024, 93 years later. Here's another rather more disturbing fact for you all.
About Louis Chiron.
Here we go.
He won the Le Mans 24 hours by driving 23 hours and 15 minutes. His son took over for him when he wanted to control it.
That's a brilliant fact, Rowley. Hey, we've all got our breaks sometimes. Yeah, I believe only 2 drivers have ever crashed into the Monaco harbour. One of them being Alberto Ascari. Don't know who the other one was. But to this day, I believe they still employ divers. They still employ divers to guard the Monaco harbour in case anyone is to take an unlucky dip. Which, to be honest, I don't know how that would help, because the drivers are so strapped into these cars nowadays that they struggle to get out in the best of times, let alone underwater. It'd be mightily impressive if they managed to clear the fencing, but
Paul Hawkins in 65.
we've seen weirder things happen. I'm surprised it didn't happen more back in the day, because the track used to be a lot more exposed to the harbour. There wasn't the catch fencing, it was still fairly low walls.
And 23 John wants Lincoln to commentate. Any response you have to him? The only fatality happened around that chicane too.
Yeah, because around the old chicane, which was very, very fast and very deadly. As quite a few drivers found out over the years. Before they put in the new chicane in 1986, I believe. The Nouvelle or Harbour chicane, depending on what you call it.
Let's place a light pole and hay bales on exit, because why not?
Yeah, why not? Adds a bit more danger.
Slight inconvenience.
Slight inconvenience. Is formation lap on? I don't think it is. 5 red lights then, and away we go! For the 2nd time here in Monte Carlo. BRT Knight leads into turn 1. The McLaren drops to the back. I don't know what happened to Meeks, but his race is very much in trouble now. Everyone already into single file as they filter through to Mirabeau for the first time. Very much different tyres in this first lap to the one we had before. The vast majority starting on mediums, KMO on the softs, with a few at the back on the hards aiming to go long. Of course, 39 laps, 39 times they have to survive the many perilous corners of the Monte Carlo circuit. One which I'd imagine will feature many crashes, many incidents, many front wings lost. However, I wouldn't imagine that it would feature many safety cars because I'm sure we're all aware of the safety car glitch in Monaco where you only get one. Where that one will show up, we'll never know, but for now, I believe they are as they started.
That's not gone well.
This has indeed not gone well for Meeks, who pits and retires from the session. So the first retirement then, I'm sure, of many here in Monte Carlo, and what you'll very, very quickly find is poor old Rio here,
Is there really no crash on
stuck in P3, and although everyone is technically in what we would call a DRS train, it doesn't matter. There's no DRS through the tunnel, only DRS zone is on the main straight. And if you've ever raced Monaco before, I'm sure you're aware that it is nearly impossible to even think about fitting two cars in the same stretch of road. Now, if there is ever an overtake, we'll have to hope we catch it, because there won't be many. Speaking of overtakes, I don't know if Kane Moss has disconnected or whether it's just a ghosting incident, but side by side up the hill, trying to use the soft tyres,
They should just make the Nouvelle straight.
cannot quite get through on the Williams of Epico, who started last, by the way, and is up to P13. Whether he can make much more progress than that, we'll have to see. But whereas in most races we may focus on the top five,
Epic is on the move.
I fear it may become a case of spectate whoever may actually be going for a move and stick with it, rather than the normal focus on the top five. But for now, Rio did just think about that, and we have a DNF. We have our first DNF of the afternoon due to a crash. Realm at the Nouvelle chicane has crashed into the entry wall, I believe, and Dylan, is this a strategy move from Dylan, which unfortunately we have seen in real life all too many times?
My game was stuck in like 14 FPS, and it was stuttering badly in PC.
Pit
Didn't have a setup
on
or
like
stack.
lap 4 or like so early on,
Interesting pit.
and then just roll with it, because he lost a lot less time than he would have.
Way too early.
The only thing that can stop this strategy from working, I'll say it now, obviously
Go to the end.
he's not going to be able to overtake the group ahead of him. Very unlikely. If the group up top, including Knight, Harris, Rio, Josh, Felix and Chaz, if they can outpace this group enough and build a pit stop gap over Dylan, who is already 13 seconds off the lead, soon to be 14,
W Felix.
they could still work. This could still work out for them, as very optimistic move there from Chaz, but pulls it off. Fair play into Raskas. Lovely Charles Leclerc-esque dive. I think it looked clean from where I was.
You're right. He's gonna lose time.
He's going to lose a lot of time behind this second group,
This is a good boy.
which is currently headed by Kev. If anyone knows what a pit stop is, let me start that again. If anyone knows how long a pit stop takes around here, you can let me know,
Hope there isn't another SC.
and we can work out the sort of gaps we're looking at. We'll run on board with Rio, who has broken 2 seconds clear
He just
of the Williams.
the outside on top of the hill. Loss is around
19 to 20, and the gap is already 14, nearly 15 seconds. He's lost over a second this lap. Lost over a second. I think this strategy call, while it may have looked blinding, I don't think it's really worked. If we have a yellow. What is the yellow for? Incident at Raskas. Likely. Kev doing the absolute godsend defence. Which is very easy to do around here, actually. Very easy to do. It doesn't matter if you're slower than the car ahead. Doesn't matter. You can see a few of these guys are under-fueled. Expecting safety cars, expecting a slow pace. Looking back from KMO towards Dylan, who is desperate to get these moves done. But there's just nowhere to fit a McLaren F1 car. Absolutely nowhere to go. For the man who very nearly started on pole, started on the front row, just beaten to it by Knight. And he'll be hoping for a mistake from KMO if he is to advance up the field anymore. There's another yellow in the form of ADS in the RB, who I believe has had a spin on the exit of the Nouvelle Chicane. He may have a bit of damage. Let's look at this, Rio getting racy in the Red Bull. But again, just not close enough to make a move into Mirabeau. Dylan has cleared KMO, we've missed it. Cleared him up the hill towards Massenet, the highest point on this circuit. So 2 seconds now to close up to Epico, which I'm sure he will close rather quickly. And it's crucial that this group, who are very slowly getting their way past Kev, don't fall too far away from the lead, with the gap now being at nearly 17 seconds. There's another yellow. Dylan's out! Dylan is out! Dylan is out, and we have a VSC. He has crashed on the entry to the Nouvelle Chicane, the second car to do it this race. Whether he was going for an opportunistic move, whether he was going for, well, whether he just clipped the inside wall, whatever happened, the strategy is definitely not going to work now, and that is a double DNF for the McLaren team, who will be leaving Monte Carlo with their heads in their hands. As on lap 8, both of their drivers are out. Once again, it's only a VSC.
Man, I barely hit the wall. What is this?
Unfortunately, that's the way it goes, Dylan. That is the way it goes as we get back underway again. Knight and Harris. Oh, why do I say Harris? It's because I'm used to saying Josh. Knight and Rio know that this is going to be a long old haul for those two. They are preying on one mistake in the next 30 laps. We'll see whether Knight can hold on.
That overtake on Kun was wild.
The Rio will be putting on as much pressure as he dares without losing his own front wing. But all Knight really has to do is just stay on the racing line. Don't make any mistakes. There's no need to push. The only time he needs to push is around the pit stops.
What happened to Dylan?
Dylan did what I'm sure we've all done at some point. And he crashed on the entry wall right here where Rio has just gone past, which saw the end of his race here this evening. Tell you what, this top 5,
happens to the best.
This top 5 have pulled 10 seconds clear of Kevin P6, who is doing, I swear I've seen it before. Who was it? Was it Fernando Alonso? a couple of years ago who just held up half the field for a whole lap. And like half the field was on one side, half the field was on the other. It's the Kev train, it's just the Alonso train reborn. It's just the Alonso train reborn. And this is all Kev needs to do. As much as it may frustrate Nick, Billy and Alex, everyone behind him, he's not doing anything wrong. In fact, he's doing everything right. Just placing his car perfectly, not making any mistakes. Is all. That was one. That was one. Oh, he just squeezed out Nick there. I don't know. I think he should have given the Mercedes space. Oh, Kevin. Kevin, that was borderline. That was borderline at the very least. Just saying that Kev's done nothing wrong, but that may have just overstepped the mark a bit. As, is there anybody else? It's like, I can go to somebody and they can be 1/10 behind. Doesn't mean that they're going to go for an overtake because it's so hard around here. And once again, Kev can just sit here. Not Kev, Rio can sit here, he can put all the pressure he wants. He has to go for the undercut here. Both of them will be aware that is probably the only way that they can win, if they get that undercut right. There's always a bit of ghosting here. Bit of a ghosting incident. Who's going to come out ahead?
What's the lap for pits?
I don't know if that was the order before. I think Alexis has profited nicely there. Up to P7 for the Ferrari. There's Epico down the inside. Oh, and that's what happens. That is what happens here in Monaco. When you go for a move.
Holy chaos.
Epico, who started last, just got squeezed into the barrier there by Billy. And I'll tell you what.
Billy killed him, loudly crying face.
Knight, Rio and Felix have gone past the pits. I think they've gone past the pits. Josh, who's come out in P4, and Chaz and Kev, has this race been turned on its head? Whereas with Dylan, who was behind a plethora of cars, the strategy looked to be doomed from the start.
Josh won it. There can only be one more VSC.
But now, Josh, as long as he can keep his front wing intact, really looks to have hit the nail on the head with the strategy here. And Felix, Rio and BRT Knight really need to get their foot down. Oh, Knight's got a drive through! Just to compound his misery, our race leader picks up a drive through. Oh my goodness me. The drama increases tenfold as our race leader. Oh, Christo's crashed at the harbour chicane as well, I think. Yep, Christo's crashed at the harbour chicane as well. That's the third victim this race. It's all kicking off here at Monte Carlo. I hope you stay tuned. You do not want to miss this. You say Rio win. I'd argue otherwise. Josh, Chaz and Raven all going to the end. All going to the end. As Knight served his drive through, and I think Knight may have just given up with this. Maybe gone.
Chatter, how are we doing today? Yeah, Josh is in the best position.
Yeah, we're doing pretty good, Chaz. Oh, not Chaz. Chappers. Here at the fabled old Monte Carlo here in X3, the harbour chicane has claimed 3 victims already, and we're only on lap 13. We've had 3 VSCs. Make that 4. Make that 4. This Chaz has now crashed at the harbour chicane as well. Oh my goodness me. What is going on? Has that wall got magnets in it? Has someone checked that that wall hasn't been rigged? 4 drivers now crashing out on the inside wall. Rio has a 14-second gap. Sorry, 17-second gap to Josh. Really, he needs to pull that out a bit more. As ADS has had another incident at the Nouvelle chicane as well. Well, it's already a race of attrition as Kev comes in for his stop. Already 5 DNFs. Sorry, mate, that's 6 DNFs. 4 of which were at the harbour chicane. We didn't have a VSC, I don't think. I don't think we ever had that 4th VSC, so we could get another one, I think.
Rio almost hit the wall.
As long as it stays as almost, and not in the wall, he should be alright as Rio does come into the pits. This is crucial. I don't think he is going to beat White Josh out of the pits. And if Josh can overtake him, the tyre age is very similar. Where are they going to come out? It's going to be close. It's going to be close, but not quite close enough.
I don't think Rio will win.
Josh takes the lead of the Monaco Grand Prix here on lap 15. And all he has to do now is hold on.
Absolute masterclass from Josh.
Josh with the absolute masterclass of a strategy here, going from P4 to P1, benefiting from the chaos. But there's still over half the race to go. The job is not done yet. He's got himself into a good position. Whether it be luck, whether it be insane strategy, whether it be a combination of the both.
Looks like Mazepin is on the grid.
He still has to keep it all together.
90% of it now.
You've got to feel for Knight. Drive-through penalty from the lead, and he's still yet to pit, so it's going to go from bad to worse for the Aston Martin when he does eventually pit.
Knight 3-second penalty.
And a 3-second pen.
Sliding like crazy.
There's always another one. Another one's gone at the harbour chicane. That's 5 now. 5 crashes at the harbour chicane, this time on the exit in the form of KMO. How far down the points go to? Because if it's P10, then we're nearly there. And if it's P15, then everyone's already got them, as long as they get to the end. As long as they get to the end. Big if on that.
I tell you what, I created a trend.
There's Rio now all over the back of Josh. We saw his teammate get wiped out with a similar move. And he doesn't go for it. Rather sensible. But where around Monaco can you overtake? Turn 1, very risky. Mirabeau, possibly. Hairpin, no. Into the Nouvelle chicane, very clearly no. We've already seen Epico get wiped out by going for a move there. Into Raskas, possibly, as Knight now pits. There's no easy overtake ever at Monaco. As Rio tries to force his way down the inside, getting the switch back. Josh just about enough to block him off. Chuck it in none now. It's so narrow here in Monaco. They've never allowed them to create this circuit now. It breaks so many F1 rules. And yet we still race here with very little no modifications. Rio, I'm calling it now, Rio either has to hope that he can force Josh into a mistake,
They can run hot lap the whole race.
They'll have to hope they can force him into a mistake, or they can get him up the hill. Because Rio looks strong out of turn 1. If he can get alongside up the hill through Massenet, he may just be alright. Because on to lap 18 we go. Very nearly half distance. And very nearly half runners. Only 12 left in this one. 5 victims being claimed by the Nouvelle Chicane already. And I'm sure there'll be a few more yet. As everyone's spread out a bit now. Billy's still huddled up behind the Ferrari of Alexis, who does have a time penalty. Nick's huddled up behind Jamie in the Aston Martin, who served his drive-through. This is when I missed the one overtake for the lead, because I'm just searching for something. And I'll tell you what, props to them. They may be running in P11 and P12, but both RBs still running. They know that this is going to be a race of attrition. They know there's going to be incidents. So they may just be able to sneak into the top 10. As now Knight joins this battle. Oh, careful lads. You don't overtake into the swimming pool. Knight, you can tell Knight's frustrated. Goes for the Rascas dive. Into Anthony Nose. Lovely move. Absolutely lovely move there. From Knight, guys, we've done it. My life is complete. We have caught a clean Monaco move on camera. Put it in the highlights reel. Front and centre. Bosh.
Nick has been bullied all race FR. Rio is attacking up the hill every time.
It's like we can just check in on this battle every now and then. Of course, Rio may have a good exit up the hill every single time. But Josh can just dump his battery up the hill every single time. And there's no other place for Rio to really do anything. And I'd imagine Jamie let Knight through then! Knight has crashed out and he's hit his teammate! He's hit his teammate, the two Aston Martins come together! The Nouvelle Chicane claims its sixth victim of the afternoon! What is going on? How Jamie hasn't got front wing damage, I'll never know. Rio once again pressuring into Mirabeau. Oh my goodness me. You know what, at this race, at this rate, everyone's going to crash out at the Nouvelle Chicane. Honestly, Rowley, good idea. Here's a suggestion. For the remaining streams of the week, assuming they are all at Monaco, I assume X1 follows the same calendar. Get them to total up how many drivers in total DNF at the Nouvelle Chicane. We've already had 6 so far. Oh, he's just... I thought he was down the inside there for a moment. Because over the 5 divisions... Over the 5 divisions, I can guarantee you will have at least 20. If not more. So for anyone who's commentating on the X2, which I believe is tomorrow, take heed. For X2, X4 and X5 then, keep track of it. You know you're getting desperate when you're going for the hairpin dive.
You're on board with the commentator of X2.
Hey, Rio himself then. Tomorrow he will be the one to keep track of it, and look who's caught up. Josh knows that he can just back the pack up. They can't do anything. Oh, hang on. Oh. You say you can't do anything and then you do us like that. To be fair, an overtake into back would be very bold on any day.
Good boy, Rio.
But I think Rio is at that point now where he is feeling that bold. He would go for it. And yes, there's his tyre on the line. And a Monaco win on the line. But is that a risk he is willing to take? Of course, any mistake now could let Felix or Raven through. It's no longer just the two of Josh and Rio. Felix and Raven have decided to come and join and spoil the party. So we look back from the Williams now. I can imagine the smug grin, how wide the grin is on Josh's face, knowing that Rio just cannot do anything. Oh, it's a spin! You've cursed him! You've cursed Felix! He's hit his rear tyre. He's hit his rear tyre on the barrier, I'd imagine. It's not the end of the world for Felix. It very nearly could have been though. And he now should stay P4, and to be honest, he should actually catch back up. He should catch back up to these three, as Josh's pace is so much slower than perhaps what it would normally be. As we look back up the hill, as Rio, he's alongside, is this the time for Rio, towards Mirabeau? Oh, he's putting him in the wall, he's put him in the wall. The desperation's got the better of him. I don't know what happened there. Josh is in the wall. Did Josh move over on him? Did Rio go for a space that was never there? The stewards will have to decide.
That isn't good, is it? Loudly crying face.
But this rather now leaves Rio versus Raven.
Loudly crying face.
Rio versus Raven for this race win here on the fabled streets of Monte Carlo.
John closed it.
Is there anything that Raven can do to spoil Rio's party and for him to secure what unbelievably will be his first win of the season here at X3? Yes, but would you be madder if Rio broke his winless championship lead? Speaking of mistakes, that's not one you want to be making too often.
No, really wait. Then the Rio winless double.
Because I don't know. I don't think there's penalties. Is there penalties for going through a ghosted car because it hit a wall?
You're not loudly crying face.
You're still not on the right account, mate. And it just appears that Raven maybe doesn't quite have the pace.
Using game mechanics.
Yeah. And you have to say, unless Rio makes a massive mistake now, Raven doesn't quite have the pace, I don't think, to give up with him. Should be game, set and match for the Red Bull, who is coming up on lap cars. First one being Kev.
Raven doesn't have to win. It's the perfect scenario for the top.
He moves out of the way nicely.
Is Rio still on none? Did I
Rio is indeed still on none. But all Raven has to do now for the next 14 laps, and Rio for that matter, just keep it in between the walls. Especially this one. Give these walls a wide berth. No need to be getting near them. I don't think Josh has pitted for that wing damage. He's just going round with half a wing.
Less spinning. How many DNFs is that I can't count?
So that'd be 7 DNFs. No, 8 DNFs. 6 of which were at the Nouvelle Chicane.
Loudly crying face.
6 DNFs at the Nouvelle Chicane. So very much a race of attrition. I think what Rio's doing, he's in none everywhere. Once he's got traction, he's putting overtake on. Once he knows that the car is secure, then he's engaging full power.
To be fair, Monaco has always been a survival race. Shows who can keep it on track and who doesn't.
Yeah, we have witnessed many a deaths in the Nouvelle Chicane this race. We may even witness a few more.
But I thought this was Singapore for a mince cull.
And for people like Alexis and Billy and those who were in the lower reach of the top 10, I think Billy hit the wall there. Either that or just lag. For those who are in the lower reaches of the top 10, they just need to bring it home now, surely. Just need to bring it home. There's a yellow in sector 2. Must have been for ADS. It's like the Daniel Ricciardo fumble, but worse.
Did you hear Monaco will have 2 pit stops minimum regardless of conditions this season?
I have heard of it, and I think it's a good idea. Monaco needs something to spice it up. Needs something new. Something to have a bit of unpredictability.
My phone so I can't see the leaderboard. Fire.
But yeah, if any of you guys watched the race last year, luckily I didn't. It was one of the races of the year that I was on holiday for. It was a snooze fest. Nothing happened. The top 10 finished as they started for the first time ever. So I think that's what's prompted it. It's like they know that the Monaco GP is boring. But that was truly boring. 70 laps of nothing. Thing is, people will come and say, oh, why is Rio pushing so hard? He's got 4 seconds now on Raven. But what I'd argue is when you're in this position, just keep going. Because you know where your car is, you're just in a constant flow. When you start backing out, trying to change your rhythm, you miss your apex, tap a wall, then your concentration goes, then you're in a whole manner of trouble.
Monaco could make a man cry. That's why Senna crashed to an 88.
Yeah. I don't see me crying hot laps, so I don't know what you want about that.
What are you supposed to do to make it in turn?
It's like with street circuits, right? Rio Pen. Rio did just pick up a penalty. What penalty is it? So 3 seconds. 3 seconds for Rio. We'll factor that in. He does currently have a 5-second lead on Raven, so he's fine for now.
Rio is locked in.
But the unfortunate situation of a street circuit, especially Monaco.
Good luck everyone that hasn't
not good. The Kev chicane, it lasts for a while, then he had a small crash and now it's P11. As Felix picks up a 3-second time penalty. There was 6 victims. Not quite 7 yet. Don't tempt fate. We don't want to see Rio in that wall.
151. I count Felix.
You count Felix. But yeah, Monaco, there is really nothing you can do. There's buildings everywhere. It's effectively a cliff up towards Massenet. The yellow flag. Billy's gone for a move at Rascasse, which hasn't pulled off. and has rather sent Alexis into a spin, which ruins his chances, if anything. Just the unfortunate nature of being so desperate.
At the exit of chicane in the Monaco race, once by barely tapping the barriers on the left.
Yeah, I once crashed on lap 36 of a league race on the entry to the Nouvelle chicane. Was not a good time. It's like they can't extend here because there's buildings. There's nowhere to go out there. The whole country's only 2 miles wide. Self-inflicted then. The whole country's only 2 miles wide. It's the second smallest country in the world. They have no land to build on unless they build out into the harbour. So they'd have to do a Jeddah and actually just make land to put the circuit on. Felix now all over the back of Josh. He does have what I believe is a 3-second penalty. But if he can get past Josh, who I believe still has his damaged wing, he could quite easily pull 3 seconds. By no means is Felix going to go for a rash move, but he knows that in this situation,
was a simple 180-degree hairpin,
it's perfectly valid for him to be going for a move on Josh if a situation arises. There's down the one and only DRS straight. Here we go on this Monaco circuit. Here's a question for you all. Do you think they should have DRS in the Monaco tunnel?
Eventually Liechtenstein could challenge Monaco if it ever got a GP. I want the old layout L. Chicane is annoying.
Do you think they should have DRS in the tunnel? And do you think it would work? Because like it's been proven now.
It would work.
We have. To be fair, most of the 6 of the DNFs, well 5 if you minus Epicos, 5 of the DNFs have been self-inflicted at this very corner. Epico crashed with an incident with, I believe, Billy. I don't. Yeah, there was one with Kev and there was one with Josh. But most of them are self-inflicted.
I have never hit the chicane in the preparation. I did around 60 laps in Hofbauer, I hit it now. Racing has been okay.
Trust me, Dylan, we've all done it at some point. I'm sure that's not the first time you've done it. I'm sure it won't be the last. But to be fair, we've had a run now of about, I'd say 15 laps since Night DNF'd. So everyone's everyone who's still in the race should make it to the end. I don't care if I jinx it, it's funny. Maybe not funny for the stewards, but it's funny for me.
To the NFS in a row, I need to lock in. Note to X2, stay out until the 30 SC and hit then.
Note to X2, give this wall as wide a berth as you can. We've already seen 6 DNFs. We haven't had a single safety car this whole race. We've had three VSCs. I think it used to be that you can get 1 safety car. You used to be able to get 1 safety car, but that's it.
In 8 seasons of racing here, there's not been a SC.
Yeah, I've had safety cars. I don't know if you have to have it on increased or something maybe. But I know you can get them. I'll tell you what, Rowley. I've got a League Race Hero in my league coming up next week. There's red flags enabled in my league. As there's another yellow flag, I believe caused by Kev.
I don't think Rio would be happy with the race.
There's red flags on in my league.
Oh yes.
And I wonder if we're actually going to see one. Because I've had them enabled for 1.5 seasons, 1 3/4 seasons now. And we haven't had one yet. So I wonder if Monaco will be the decisive one. To be fair, it might have been if we hadn't turned ghosting on. Because we did 1.5 seasons with ghosting off before we had a community vote to turn it off.
Will be the first red flag. When is that race again?
So it's Wednesday 8 PM, so next Wednesday 8 PM UK time is when that'll be. If you want to drop in and have a look. No doubt I will be DNF'd in the first 10 laps, but yeah, round 8 of season 2 in my league. And we don't... the championship, but oh, there's another one. There's another one! Raven's gone now. There's the 4th VSC. There's the 4th VSC. I told you we didn't have it.
Oh, Raven.
Raven made it.
Raven, no fucking way.
To lap 35. And has now binned it from P2. 7 victims. 7 victims of the Monaco chicane. Oh my word.
Loudly crying face, loudly crying face, loudly crying face, loudly crying face, loudly crying face. Bruce cuss. Does this every fucking time, bro. No way I will. Oh my god.
Raven has got...
Oh, Raven, an apology for jinxing.
Raven's got the curse of not finishing in Monaco in long distance races.
Same place at EXA_Rolly.
Harbour chicane on the entry. Very unlucky for Raven.
Black 36.
Which means that we are down to 10.
Not the same place.
And everyone now definitely scores points. I don't know how far down the points go. I think it might be 15.
Different ways. He has a process. Top 15.
Okay, well, a few of them might score points. I think Raven may pick up a few points. I don't know if you have to finish the race. But everyone who's racing now will definitely score points.
Felix is in P2, no way.
Felix, after having his minor incident at the chicane earlier on, is now back up to P2, ahead of Josh. No idea where he overtook Josh, but he's overtaken Josh nonetheless, and he now has to try and get a 3-second gap in 3 laps. So we'll check up on the progress of him as Kev takes that P10. Who's got the fastest lap at the moment? Crikey, it's Dylan. I can't see what it says though.
Well,
1:11.0. And Rio Harris and Felix have an identical fastest lap.
I am going to nut on Felix.
Alright. Yeah, I don't think that anyone's going to be troubling Dylan's fastest lap, especially in these last few laps. Just bring it home now, lads. You've done the hard work.
Rio couldn't have wished for a better scenario.
Well, Felix hasn't quite done all his hard work. We'll do an AI check, shall we? Well, I said we'll do an AI check. It's very difficult to tell. That looks like it's an AI. I don't think Alexis ever actually got back in the lobby. He's been disconnected for a while. Hey!
And Alexis are probably in AI.
Look at that! Kev with the fastest lap. Up you... up the Kev.
Marcel
Brilliant work.
after 16 crashes.
As Jamie... Did Jamie reset the track? I think he went straight on at Mirabeau. I don't know... Don't know if he reset the track, maybe. Also, speaking of... This isn't the last lap, by the way. Or will be the last lap when they get round. Jamie and Marcel, 34 laps they've done on the hards. What a stint.
Rio wins. What time
Yeah.
penalty does Felix have?
Felix has a 3 second, so he's not going to quite get it. We'll watch them through the chicane for the final time. God, imagine someone crashed on the chicane now. I would actually lose it. Rio navigates it safely. The leader is through. He has one more sector to go. Here in the fabled streets of Monte Carlo.
On hards is difficult to get at any other circuit.
To take the best win yet, probably, of his EXA career. And his first win of the season. Rio, with a masterful strategy, comes across the line to win the Monaco Grand Prix.
Won his first in style.
First race of the season, what a race to win.
Well done, Rio.
He'll be hoping it's the first of many.
GG.
Felix will come across the line on track P2, but will be P3 as Josh will take P3. He still had the wing damage from earlier, by the way, so very good job there from Josh in the Williams. Billy will come across the line to take P4.
Where did Felix start?
Oh, we'll check it in a minute.
5th.
Nick will come across the line in P5 in the Mercedes. All of these guys who have got to the end. Very well done to you all. It's been a very difficult race. And then Marcel will be the last one to come across the line to round out our 10 finishers. GG's to you all.
Maybe Sorba has a chance.
What a race. Do you know who? Do you know what
Marcel for holding out. Strong
the driver of the day for this race is? The chicane. 7 victims in the end. 7 victims over the 39 laps.
Stream man. Very enjoyable to watch every time.
Yeah, thank you very much, man. I do try my best to be of some entertainment.
He'll take a podium.
Yes, will do.
Absolute madness. Especially here.
We got to have a bit of fun with some Monaco history. A bit of fun with the many crashes. Lovely race.
Very
Lovely
nice.
jubbly.
Thank you. Maybe
There's the strategy screen. And then the many incidents for the stewards
now then.
when no doubt they want them.
Tickets.
Not as many as you think, Luigi. Not as many as you think. Because 7 of these, well, 6 of these DNFs were self-inflicted. At the harbour chicane, one of them
I drove cleanly.
was an incident, but we'll let the stewards decide on that. Kev takes fastest lap.
If it's not as many, it means it's been a good race.
Lovely race. Where are we off to next week, Rowley? No one informed me. Where does the EXA circus land?
I think Rio Mario will report Joshua. Spain.
Oh, you never know.
I saw them throw down
Off
some
to
bombs.
the Circuit de Catalunya then for next week.
Hispano, or are we change foe?
Couldn't get much,
Monaco again.
couldn't get much more different. Yeah, Monaco again. I'll take it any week. But thank you to everyone who has come and raced and watched.
Rolling
I
on the
hope
floor
you've had a
laughing,
good
rolling on
time.
the floor laughing, rolling on the
Monaco
floor
next
laughing,
week.
skull and crossbones.
God, that'll be crazy.
Monaco double
I have
double.
been Half Lap Harry.
Go.
This has been
I
X3,
just won a race in Silverstone.
and I will see you next week. Adios.
Thank you very, very much, Harry man. See you.